So the Kolkata Knight Riders will feature now, and they had a bit of a topsy-turvy auction. They were very pleased to pick up Shreyas Iyer, high profile marquee player, potential captain, and they also brought back a lot of their core. They'd be thrilled with that. Cummins, Nitish Rana, Shivam Mavi. But then what happened? Then they suddenly needed to scamper in the retention phase, the accelerated phase rather, and pick up some keeping options. That's when Sam Billings went there, and they completed their overseas quota there as well. So let's see now what that ideal team would look like. This is anyone's guess too, but I think the first question we've got to ask is who's partnering Venkatesh Iyer? Are we going for Ajinkya Rahane? Are we going for Nitish Rana, who's open for them? Or are we looking at somebody else entirely? GS, what do you think?
I would personally go with Alex Hales because I think he's in top form and that's the role he plays. If you pick him, I think you should play him. He plays only the T20 format and he's been
Right.
so
Sorry,
consistent.
I'm just gonna cut you for one simple reason that you've got Russell, Narayan, and Cummins. If Hales is your fourth, then you need an Indian keeper. So
Yeah.
you're sure that you're going to go with Sheldon Jackson then?
I don't have a choice, but that's what I would do personally. You could ask Dan and Wasim if they think.
Get into Baz McCullum's head now and tell me what on earth is he going to come in and
how did you let GS off so easily with that? You caught him out, and now he just passed it off to us too.
Well, GS and me are on the same team. Actually, we all are. We're all on the same team. But a question that they have to answer is Sam Billings going to play as their keeper?
I'm not sure. I think Rahane may get a chance early on. That's what I was thinking. But I think Jess is right that Hales is the proper option in terms of that ability to attack early on and how the form he's been in. But if you're telling me that Billings is the only keeping option,
well, Russell, Narayan, and Cummins surely play. So your fourth overseas then. Unless your Indian keeper options, Wasim, what they've got are Sheldon Jackson and Baba Indrajit, who doesn't keep as much in domestic cricket, but did enter the auction as a keeper bat. So that's slim pickings, unless there's some other part-time keeper in that who hasn't revealed himself just yet.
Yeah, I think, Alex Hales, for me, should start Venkatesh Iyer because you want to go hard up front. Ajinkya Rahane, you don't know, he's not had a great IPL, for the past few seasons. So Alex Hales must start. Sheldon Jackson is good enough player to play at number 3 or number 4. I think I rate him quite decent.
Right. So let's finish that team now. Let's bring in Alex Hales. That's the consensus. And if at all we need to find room for Sam Billings, we'll take that call later. Let's put in the rest of the team. Now, you know that Nitish Rana will bat 3. This is a flexible phase of the Knight Riders. Shreyas Iyer 4, and Sunil Narayan, let's put him in the top 5. McCullum's been keen to use him earlier. Owen Morgan used him earlier as well last season. So Narayan is a moving part in that top order. So there you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Andre Russell obviously there. So that's number 6. Now Sheldon Jackson has to play in this team as your keeper. So let's throw in Sheldon Jackson, who probably will have to play 7. Or again, the position isn't as important as the role. Pat Cummins. So you could easily even have your keeper go further down. So let's put Pat Cummins in that. The certainty, Shivam Mavi will certainly play at 7.25 crores. So there goes Shivam Mavi into that slot. Varun Chakravarti. Yeah, let's throw in Varun Chakravarti at 11.
And Umesh Yadav.
And Umesh Yadav, who has come in, literally at the nth hour. I would be very curious to see, is Umesh Yadav actually going to make this team? I mean, they have the option of going, KKR have done this. They've put faith in young Indian uncapped players. So whether Rafiq Salam, who's played a little for the Mumbai Indians, then had a tough time, banned from the game for age fraud. So would he possibly feature as a left field option? Anukul Roy has made his way from fielding till eternity for the Mumbai Indians. He could fall in as a piece into that puzzle. Wasim, what do you make of this team now? Sheldon Jackson with the gloves and Umesh Yadav and Shivam Mavi as Indian seamers?
I think so. I think Umesh Yadav, they need to start with him because, again, a lot of other guys are unknown quantity, so you don't know, how they shape up. So Umesh Yadav, they bought him right in the end. They might force to play him in the 11 at the start.
My question, GS and Dan, would be, they've got so many bowling options anyway. They've got Chakravarti, Mavi, Cummins, Russell, Narayan, Nitish Rana, Venkatesh Iyer. So that's 7 options already to bowl. Do you really need Umesh Yadav? Who have I missed?
Only Hales and Jackson can't bowl.
Fine, 8. Yeah, I mean Shreyas Iyer rolled his arm over recently, didn't he? Anyway,
the thing is, you're right. You're right. You do have so many bowling options, which is that luxury spot in a way, but not as luxurious as maybe a Chennai Super Kings. But yeah, you can kind of play around with that. And I personally wouldn't play Narayan at 5. I would kind of just continue to keep him below and maybe just move everybody up the order. And so the keeper is the biggest issue, right? If they'd got Nicholas Puran, maybe this problem wouldn't have been there. But now they have to play with this, and Sheldon Jackson could be the kind of guy who you bat only if required in this batting lineup.
Okay, Dan, could you give me something else? If they don't need Umesh Yadav, maybe they could make better use of that position. They have a lot of bowling options. They could possibly bring in an uncapped all-rounder who gives them a bit of both, or they could play somebody else who could take the gloves and surprise us. There may be a makeshift keeper that we don't know of.
Yeah, but potentially. But I also think the bowling options allows them to use Umesh Yadav at his best, and if they can use him up front in that power play in those middle stages, and then forget about him for the back end, then they could get Umesh at his best, and I think his power play and early numbers are good. So I think that allows them to utilize him in a way that brings the best out of him, rather than trying to just have 5 bowlers and make it work. Look, I think that's a pretty good playing 11. I just if they have injuries, then they are. That's when their struggles will come in. If they get their playing 11 out most of the time, then I think that's a really strong team.
Yep, fair enough there. We're giving you the other options. If you want to bring in Sam Billings, then potentially either Sunil Narayan opens, Nitish Rana opens, Ajinkya Rahane could come in. So they have other ways to get that right. But they did struggle getting their 11 right in the first half of IPL 2021. Then post the break, Venkatesh Iyer changed their fortunes. Venki Mysore did tell us that Andre Russell was retained with the confidence that he will be fit for a large part of IPL 2022. So that's what you have from KKR. We've given you the other pieces. Anything else that could possibly make this team stronger? Dan? Wasim?
I think also at the back end of that second half of the tournament, their overseas players were everybody. I mean, they played Cutting, they played Southey, they played Seifert. So I think they can mix and match depending on what Russell does. And plus the fact that, with all respect to Morgan, he didn't get the runs that they would have liked. So they're bringing in an overseas player who could offer a lot more in terms of their on-field performance.
All right, we leave it there then. Quick yes or no, Shreyas Iyer to captain this team? Wasim?
I think so. He's the only, likely guy. Other than that, Ajinkya Rahane, who doesn't, get his first 11. He doesn't fit into the 11. So Shreyas Iyer, I feel, is the right choice.
JS?
Yeah, I think Shreyas Iyer. If you spend so much money on him and he's a long-term prospect, it's Shreyas Iyer.
Dan, does it matter? Because Brendan's going to decide everything.
Look, I think if you knew Cummins' availability and if you could get past those first couple of games, then he could be a possibility, just knowing the relationship between Brendan and himself and the fact that they've been together a year. But I think the easy option is Shreyas Iyer.